So today what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna start a new project. I've got this mini Malibu hanging here on the wall, and I've been wanting a mini Simmons, and I don't feel like redesigning a whole template to make a mini Simmons. So I'm gonna try to modify my template for my mini Malibu into a mini Simmons. So here's the template here for the mini Malibu. So I'm going to cut these out and see if I can piece some of them together to make it work. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to lay out a rocker template. The existing rocker template for the mini Malibu is not going to work, so I'm just going to have to lay out a new rocker template. So what I've done is I've gone online and I found a rocker template for a mini Simmons. I've got the bottom of the rocker laid out. I've ran it out, past the edge there, and just, made it nice flow. Same with the front here, and float it right out to the end. So that's the bottom of my rocker. Now I've got to set up my top rocker. The nose rib's going to come in about 6 to 7 inches from the nose because I'll be building a nose block. But I need to have a nice smooth radius around the nose. So I get it laid out where I want it. Take my measurement from the first rib here to the nose rib, and then I divide that by 9 because I have 9 spaces. So what I came up with was 6 3/4 spacing in between each rib. So I measure from the tail 1 inch because that's my first rib is going to be 1 inch from the tail. Mark it. Then I mark 6 3/4, then another 6 3/4. And another 6 3/4, I do that all the way to the tail. For the mini Simmons template, I'm using the exact ribs from the mini Malibu template. Except I'm only using rib number 3 to rib number 12. And I'm shortening up the distance in between. So, what I'll do is I'll lay these templates out. Alright, what we're going to do is a little close up here. What we have here is the square baseline. This is the bottom of the rocker template, this being the tail, the bottom of the rocker template, and this line goes all the way out to the nose where it rolls up to the nose. Okay? Now what we need to do is we need to lay out the top of the rocker template. Now, where we get those measurements is we get them from the ribs. We're just using rib number 3 to rib number 12, okay? Now to get the dimension for the top, right? We start off with 1 inch off the tail. This is the tail line. 1 inch off the tail, that's where your first rib's gonna go. We're gonna use dividers, okay? What we're gonna do is we're gonna pick this dimension right there, dead center of that template, and we're gonna transpose that from the bottom of the rocker line and make a point for the top of your rocker line, okay? And then we're going to do the same thing with the next rib, which is going to be rib number 4, which is actually mini Simmons rib number 2, okay? You're going to pick that, tighten, and you're going to come out here to your 6 3/4 mark, which is where rib number 2 is going to be placed, where they're going to intersect, and you mark that, right? So that's that mark. And you're going to pick off of this, transpose, pick, transpose. You're going to do that the whole board, and what that's going to do is that's going to give you your points for the top arc. So this template matches those ribs. What we're going to do next is we're going to connect those dots with a straight edge, a flexible straight edge. I just use a piece of glue on with a nice flat edge. This is sometimes where you could use a little help if you got somebody who can help you. But you just line up this board to those dots and then mark. And that will give you the top rocker. All right, so I got the whole template cut out. Everything's sanded down. Everything's nice and level and square. And I've got my first deck plank on right here. And we're gonna start gluing these deck planks on, and we glue those on until we get to the edge of the rail so we can start running our rail bands. And we'll run our rail bands up, sand them down, put the decking over top. All right, the top is done on the board. I'm planking out the bottom. The rails are finished. And you can see here on the inside of the rail, on the inside how those rails form around. Now I'm going to plank out the bottom. The board is decked out, rough trimmed all around the edges, right around the rails. The nose is rough cut into shape. All right, I've got the board rough sanded. The rails are shaped. Take a look here and see the rails. Now we're ready for the nose block and the tail block. The nose block is all laminated and laid up and ready to go. One last piece waiting to dry. All right, I've glassed the board, and now I've got the hot coat on. The fins are glassed in. They turned out real nice. And I'm gonna wait for this hot coat to kind of settle a little bit. There's a few bubbles coming out of it. let the wax rise to the top, and then I'll pull it out into the sun. Let it cure.